Welcome, my Gemini friends with Gemini placements, to our Capricorn season reading. This reading is going to span from December 21st, 22nd to January 21st, 22nd. And these are going to be some energies that you might need to be on the lookout for, or this might be a follow up from some of the things that we worked through in our last reading together. Now, this reading is not going to be the same as the last one. I'm not going to do a start, stop, continue again until probably the next reading, but I was feeling called to make sure that there are some somatic practices that are available to you, as well as journaling prompts and affirmations, just to take away from these readings something a little bit more that you can dive into. And I know that as Geminis, especially the verbal components are very compelling. And I would suggest making sure that the somatic stuff that we're going to get into is something that you start to open yourself to as well. So, my Gemini friends, let us get started. I would love to introduce you, in case you haven't met them before, to the cards that we're going to be using. First, we're getting our somatic practices from the Hack Your Nervous System deck. There are 60 evidence-based practices to help alleviate anxiety, reduce stress, and retrain your nervous system. I love these. My social worker friend, my therapist friend, had them and got me those for my birthday. So thank you to my sir for getting those for me. We also have the super attractor cards that we're going to be getting the affirmations from. And the illustrations are beautiful. The artwork is beautiful. As well as the Soul Truth Self-Awareness deck. That's where we're going to be getting our journaling / like meditation prompts from. Now, the cards that wanted to come out today were the Voyager Tarot. So Gemini people with Gemini placements, this is what we're going to be working with today. We've got all tarot cards today. So let's get into it. Let me flip these over and see what we're working with. Oh, 2 woman cards, which in classic tarot is the queen of a suit. And in tarot, the suits that we have aren't like clubs, spades, diamonds, hearts, but instead are swords, which is for the mind, cups, which is for the emotional energies that we have. So we have mental energies, we have emotional energies. We have pentacles, which is the external and the material energies that we work with, like relationships and money and our career and our home environment. And then we also have wands, which is the spiritual energy that we work with. So we have a little bit of visible and invisible that balance each other out. And in this reading, we have almost a little bit of everything. We have the Woman of Wands hanging out with the Five of Crystals, and we have the Woman of Cups hanging out with the Star card, which is one that I get a lot from my ancestors. Whenever I'm like, I'm doubting myself again, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? They're like, own it. Own your stardom. And I feel like because that's where my energy is going and my attention is being drawn, and this is what I'm sharing with y'all, this might be the message that you need to hear too, is whenever you are doubting yourself and you are not fully owning all of your best qualities, including all of the things that challenge you, that you have been learning in and that you have been growing in. When you are not fully taking ownership of those things, you might be doing what is on this Woman of Cups card, which is this person who is, like listening to the ocean in the shell here. But also, I'm getting the sense that it's like making a call to somebody else, really seeking validation externally, hoping that something outside of you is going to help tell you and remind you of why you're amazing and why you shouldn't doubt yourself and why you should keep going on the track that you're already on. There's this feeling of restlessness as well, because we have the Woman of Wands, the censor card, coming in with the Five of Crystals, which is the negativity card. So it feels like, if your Queen of Wands is the one who is responsible for going and reaching out and making that phone call of like, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? It might be because Five of Crystals, are swords in traditional tarot. Crystals is what we call it, that suit in this tarot deck. It's about mental energy. So it's like, if you are just caught in a cycle of negativity and you're caught in a cycle of feeling foolish or feeling like an imposter, feeling like you're fooling other people. And I'm getting that from the pyrite here, which is often called fool's gold. If you're feeling kind of foolish for some of the mistakes that you've made, and that's something that is making you doubt yourself, you feel like you have failed in some way to align with what you're supposed to be doing, then you're probably having a hard time sort of shedding that skin and letting go of the past experiences that have reformed you. You are already remade into a new version of yourself. I'm getting that from the snake here up in the corner. You've already been remade. You've already, if you haven't released the last bit of that old skin of you and all of your failures and all of the mistakes that you've made and the version of you that you feel maybe embarrassed about or humiliated about because other people saw it and now you have it on replay in your head, like, I can't believe I did that and I allowed somebody else to let me or I really thought that this was the right thing to do and I was so convinced, and now I don't know if I can trust myself anymore. I don't know who to trust, because fuck, if I can't trust myself, then who can I trust? If you're still kind of stewing in all of that, that's a skin that needs to be shed. And not in the way that you should get rid of something because it no longer serves you, but really honor that version of you who learned something and grew and was beautifully naive or lovingly trusting. Because ideally, the trust that you put into yourself or into somebody else, or even into your guidance systems, is because there is love there. My Mars is in Gemini, and I'm just now making the connection that when I was leaving a job that I wanted to get out of quickly, I found a job very quickly and I left that job very quickly. And the reason that I felt so comfortable and so assured in taking that job and taking that big leap from something that I didn't necessarily want to do anymore to something that I wasn't sure that I could do, but I was hoping I could make a lot of money doing. I got this big yes. I got this guidance from the universe, from my guides, saying, yes, hell yes, do it. You should fucking do it. And 4 days in, I ended up quitting and coming back to this. And that's the story of how I got back to Be for Vibrant and started, creating and doing card readings again, was because I really needed to not be in that space anymore. But it made me lose faith in my guides for putting me there in the first place when it was terrible. It was a terrible place to be. And the trust that I put in them and in myself came from love. So you might feel stung. You might feel like a little bit of that sting of the emotional turmoil that comes from like making the call and getting a very short answer back, but then realizing that you're kind of out in space all alone. I'm seeing like the cracks here. I'm seeing the cracks in sort of like the dry ground there of like, you told me if I moved to this other place that it wouldn't crumble from beneath my feet. And your guides are like, no, we didn't say that. We didn't say that you wouldn't fail and that you wouldn't make mistakes. We never told you that it was going to be perfect. We just told you this is the next place to go. Because you have to trust that what you need is always going to come with the good and the bad and the ugly. And I get the sense that you do know that, but that accepting it in your body, you know, that emotional energy that comes with the Woman of Cups, and being able to rejoice in and celebrate every phase of the moon, even when you don't see her, even when it feels like it's lost, and when you don't feel like, you know, you have anybody around you. I mean, we look at the stars in the sky and they all seem to be together, but in reality, they're hundreds of thousands of miles apart from each other, millions even. And that's very lonely. And it can feel very isolating, and it can feel very detached and disconnected. And that might be how you feel after, you know, trusting somebody else and trusting something else. So I'm going to move to the journaling prompt here, the Soul Truth card, because it just caught my attention again. And I think this is a great transition to some questions that you might need to be asking yourself. And that includes, what am I waiting for? Someone else to do it for me? You might be in a place where you're just waiting for somebody else to tell you the next step, or waiting to make you're waiting for a 100% money back guarantee. You're waiting for complete and utter security in order to do something. And you might not trust yourself anymore, so you're waiting for somebody else to come in and be more trustworthy than you and your guides, than you and your fucking guides. Okay. This is an opportunity to ask yourself, not only what am I waiting for, but in the revelation that what I get guidance toward isn't always going to be the literal best thing, but it is going to be the next best step to take. And that's always very frustrating for those of us who have Gemini placements, who feel very 0 or 100 about things. I don't want to be in between. I want to know, or I want to know that it's not right. I want to know it's right or wrong. A or B. That's it. Black or white. If you're in that place where you're still looking for the black and white to reveal itself and you're surrounded by gray, what am I waiting for? Be sure to tune in to what that message is for you, so that you can start to release some of the tension that comes from being in a state of holding and not feeling like, you know, we've got these two woman cards, which are the queen cards in traditional tarot. We've got two queens here. And if you don't feel like you have the authority in your life and the sovereignty to make choices, regardless of what anybody else says or thinks, regardless of what maybe parts of you say or think, you got to start stepping into the ownership of choices that you don't need to regret later, because you accept now in the present, as you are making that choice, that it is not going to be perfect, and it never will be, and there will never be a perfect choice. There will always be a perfect for you choice, a perfect for what you need next choice. But there will never be a perfect 100%. This fits. This is exact. I'm never going to leave. I can stay here. This is going to be sure forever. Doesn't sound very realistic when you say it aloud like that, right? So you might want to journal on that. Think about what is keeping me from moving forward. What am I waiting for? Next, we have our Hack Your Nervous System card, and it says anchor into calm. So I'm going to be reading this aloud for you, but I'm going to get it nice and close so you can take a screenshot or a picture. You can look at that later. So anchor into calm. Identify 3 or more answers in each category that bring you a sense of calm and balance. They're going to be answers to the questions who, what, where, and when. So who are the friends, family, or animals that bring you a sense of calm and balance? What? Is it drinking coffee? Is it reading a book? What brings you calm and balance? Where? The forest, the ocean, your room. When? A specific moment in time, from a vacation, from being around coworkers that just make you, even though work sucks, they make you happy that you showed up and that you get to be with them. Who, what, where, and when. These are all things that you can answer for those categories to bring you a sense of calm and balance. And I get the sense that the calm and balance needs to come back to a self-knowing and a self-trust. So I hope that you also tune into that as you are answering these questions and you're tuning in. When you start to feel anxious or stressed, bring up one of these memories and dive fully into the sensory experience of it. What did you see? How did your body feel? What did you smell, taste, or touch? What do you notice change within you as you remember in this way? So be sure to identify some things that bring about a sense of calm and balance and peace and self-trust. And then sit with it for a while. It's hard for me to do that. In meditation, sometimes I lose track of where I'm at. So this might also be a good journaling prompt for you so that you can really dive into it and explore all of the connections that you make to the things that you identify in those categories. Right? Lastly, but not leastly, got 2 dark cards here for affirmations from our Super Attractor deck. So the first one we have is, I'm in awe of the magnificent, excuse me, I'm in awe of the magnificent guidance that's available to me. The next one we have is, the more I attune my energy with appreciation, the more the universe will deliver. And that is to say, when we attune to gratitude and we attune to the appreciation that we want to feel, even if we're not feeling it immediately or we're not feeling it all the time, there is an appreciation that we want to feel for the guidance that we receive and for the universe turning us and pivoting us in another direction so that we can continue to feel like the blessings are coming. But if you're not living and sitting in gratitude for the blessings that have arrived, then the universe isn't necessarily going to change its course. It's just going to hear you saying, what you've given me is bad. And your focus, your aperture, like in a camera, your aperture for bringing in the light is going to become much smaller, much dimmer, and much more focused and laser focused on the flaws, the mistakes. You might even start treating other people differently when you're not in gratitude, when you're not living in gratitude for your own goodnesses. You might start treating other people with that sense of, I don't appreciate the way that all of your flaws and your mistakes are things that I have to clean up or that I have to deal with. Instead of have to, it's get to. I get to witness you as a full person, and I get to accept you for how you are and who you are. In the same way that I would want other people to accept me for who and how I am. And I would want them to see being around me as a blessing and not a burden. So be sure that the affirmations that you're telling yourself and the mindset that you are cultivating is one that you would want other people to view you, that lens, that aperture that you would want other people to view you through. Because the more other people see you that way, the more blessings that they bestow upon you. You know, it's a like attracts like, it's a magnetizing. You got to make sure that the things that you are waiting for from other people, from outside sources, are actually the things that you're doing for yourself, and that you're saying to yourself, and that you're holding and embracing within yourself. Let me know how this resonated for you. I will be doing these horoscope readings every month, and they're for, if you have Gemini placements. So you don't have to be a Gemini sun or even a Gemini moon or rising to be watching this video. And that also means check out your star chart. Make sure that you are going and watching the other videos that resonate with you and that call to you and speak to you, so that you can get the full picture, because it's not just this message that is going to help shape you. It's all of those things in conjunction. So I hope you let me know how this sat with you. I hope that you subscribe if you would like to continue to see these every month, in addition to all the other cool things that I'm doing and that I'm about to be doing. I have this challenge that I'm coming up with that is very cool and that I'm very excited about. So if you would like to join me, I hope that you do. I've also got a link in the caption below for booking with me privately. So if you want to get a reading that goes deeper into some of these things and really gives you a greater sense for where specifically in your life you need to hold that gratitude and you need to start feeling that greater sense of sovereignty, I would love to be here for you. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. You're so deserving of all the love you desire. And I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day. Mwah!